Hello, and welcome back to Fizz Entertainment for the final Phantasm review. That would be for 2016, I believe. Phantasm Ravager, which is part of the Spear collection. If you follow these Phantasm reviews I've done this year, you will be infinitely known with this collection. Well, I'm not going to do any monologue from the Tall Man for this particular review. So, I'm just going to go right into it. This final installment is hated by just about everybody. And to the depth of me, I did not understand. The Phantasm films, all the way from the very beginning in 1979, all the way up till now, have always kind of had their quirks and their perks, if you really want to be honest. So, it's always been a little bit different than most Ed Holder films and franchises. This one, in my opinion, is a little more special. This is where I, first off, if you want my full point-by-point plot bulletin of the movie and stuff like that, I made a review of this film several years ago. So, look at that. I'm going to take time to tell you the history of Phantasm Ravager. Phantasm Ravager is based off of two scripts that were written. The first one being Phantasm's End, also known as Phantasm 1999, which was supposed to be the direct sequel to Oblivion in the first place. It was going to show us where Reggie went, and we were going to come to a red planet, not Earth, but literally a red planet, the Tall Man's home world. And there was going to be some incredible stuff done in this movie, and it was really going to be phenomenal. And we see a lot of that in this movie with, a red-like planet, because it's a futuristic Earth. I'm not sure if that's the way it was in the Phantasm in the script. I think it actually was, now that I think about it. Now that it's starting to kick in my head a little bit, yes, I do believe that it was a post-apocalyptic thing, and the Tall Man had ruled over Earth in the future. So time travel, obviously. So yes, turns our world into a red planet, just like he does in this movie, in one of the timelines. And yeah, you had things like big red spears. Sorry, that big. Just big, humongous spears in a red planet. Sorry, I'm just waking up right now. With Earl Grey in hand. That's part of it. The other script that it's based off of is the Reggie Chronicles, in which we had a whole chronicle stories based off of the character Reggie, played by actor Reggie Bannister. That's better. And yeah, it had to do with multiple timelines and him traveling for different dimensions and stuff like that. It's like you see in the movie. So that's really the history of Phantasm Ravager, really is that. Is that it took all these interesting story ideas that existed at the time, all the way back to 1998. And yeah, right after the last movie, yeah, they made the script for the ultimate final one, known as Phantasm's End. But all the way back to those scripts, in all the Reggie Chronicle scripts they made in the past few years, before the movie came out, obviously. That's where the story kind of comes in. Just for the quality. This is the same exact Blu-ray as before. It's just been repackaged in this wonderful and fantastic box set. I didn't say fantastic, I said fantastic. F, not P. For those of you who want to make a little perk on that. It's the same Blu-ray, so same specs. This one was shot in 1.78, like the first movie, not 1.85, like 2 and 3. So tells you right there the difference between direct-to-video releases is they never get a full 1.85 or 2.35 widescreen format. It's the same here. The audio is still the same. But I would say in this cinematic environment, it makes very good use of overhead channels effects. Because it's an entirely different system altogether. Everything that we watched the movie on, all these movies, is different from the system we watched it on all those years ago. It's completely different. And it definitely shows that it's different because it has a lot more advantage of overhead sound effects and stuff like that. This is definitely a step forward over the previous experience I had. Watching it theatrically on a 110-inch projector screen. Well, now I know what it felt like to watch this movie in theaters, and I can say beyond a will of a doubt that if you watch this movie theatrically, you're going to enjoy it a whole lot more than watching it on a little screen. This film is kind of meant to be watched theatrically. It kind of adds to the element of the experience. It makes you appreciate it more. I guess rest out enough. And well, that's all there really is to say about Phantasm Ravager. And I'll do a quick ranking since we have a little bit of time. If I were to rank these movies, I would say I would put 2 at the very best. So we're going to go from very best to very worst. Phantasm 2, Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead, Phantasm 4, Oblivion. Actually, no, you know what? Let's start over again. Let's be fair about this. So Phantasm 2, Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead, Phantasm Ravager, Phantasm Oblivion, also known as Phantasm 4, Oblivion, followed by Phantasm. Now I know that's going to throw a lot of you off. Why do I put Phantasm at the very bottom? It's because, as good as Phantasm is, I would say that all these films are better than that movie. Even Phantasm Oblivion, also known as Phantasm 4. Phantasm 4, in my opinion, is a better movie than Phantasm. And when it comes down to Ravager, Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead, and then Phantasm 2 being top 3, I think that unique balance of action, adventure, science fiction, fantasy, and horror suspense is just perfect in the second movie. Despite the absence of not having Michael A. Baldwin playing Mike, it definitely does still, in my opinion, come out as the crown jewel of the Phantasm films. And it's the introduction of the Reg Man. And let's be perfectly honest. The tall man in his spears and his little dwarves in the scary world that inhabits is not the only reason that we watch these Phantasm movies. We watch these Phantasm movies, some would say even more so, for the Barracuda car, the 4-barrel shotgun, and Reggie Bannister's one-liners, and pretty much seeing a nobody misfit being an action hero against the ultimate evil. That's kind of why we watch these movies. That's why I watch them. And so that's why I put 2 at number 1, and I put 3 as the second best. And then I put Ravager as the third best, because these are kind of that embodiment of having the character of Reggie with his fancy 4-barrel shotgun and the Barracuda car and his Silver 45 and his knife, and him, taking down the tall man's little goons and trying to save his best friend. These are the films that's about. And it's a little bit there in Oblivion, but it's not there at all in Phantasm. Phantasm, to me, also sort of seems a little outdated. But that's my ranking on the Phantasm films. I would say it was very wonderful returning to the Phantasm franchise. This time around with some new perks with Dolby Atmos in the first film and then the unrated version of the second movie with the new 4K scan. I thought this was a pretty good experience. If you can find a copy of this box set, do not hesitate. Get it. And that's all there's to say about the Phantasm franchise. And all there's to say about Phantasm Ravager. And I will see you guys next time.